tell us, what is MakerMobile? What are you doing here today?
We're basically showing kids bits of technology, how things work, teaching them how to make things in the MakerMobile, with a truck full of gear, equipment, tech tools, instruments.
Okay. What kind of things will they make?
It's a mixture of crafty projects and technology-based stuff. So we're kind of into blurring the boundaries between tech and crafts, and that's kind of the zone that we find interesting to play in. So that's what we like sharing with other people.
Give us an example of, haven't had a chance to see it in action yet, but what's one of the things that the kids made today?
The last thing they made were little fishers out of CDs as mobiles. But we also did some 3D printing. They all took home a little badge with MakerMobile that had been hot printed off the 3D printers. And I
built this geodesic dome with them. That was the first thing today. It's like a mini Science World dome.
Yes, some of them have actually seen Science World in Vancouver and seen the dome, a big dome like this. But you need basically about 10 hands to hold this thing up until you put the last piece in.
Well, you were telling me earlier you're on quite an extensive tour. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Valemount is number 4 on the five on the list of 19 towns that we'll be heading up to, west, east, and really north up at Fort Nelson. So we've got a long way to go still. And seeing the country, it's certainly the furthest north I've been in British Columbia. And it's been an amazing experience. So we're bringing the MakerMobile to the little towns that don't normally see this type of technology.
And what's your specialty in the group here? We have.
I'm doing a lot of the art programming with MakerMobile, and if you see on the other side of the truck, we're making giant stickers shaped like gears at each of the communities we stop in. So everywhere we stop, each of the kids gets to write their name or do a drawing, and then they get seen at the next location that we go, and all of them.
Very cool. It's a nice kind of memento. So what's the reason for this? So you talked about kids not having the access in the rural communities. Is that really why you're out here?
I think all of us are makers. Well, I know that because we've all met in a similar community. What we've realized is that schools often will have technology like 3D printers, but there's one for a class of 30 kids, and it's sort of hands-off unless the teacher is in control. It's a large investment. We have a substantial investment in this truck, and we can easily share it amongst a number of kids and give each one of them that hands-on access. So in some respects, we do this because it really gives us a lot of pleasure to see kids leave with some knowledge. Not so much a thing, but actually, wow, I actually did that. I saw that, and I know how it works now, which is not always practical or possible in the regular education system.
This type of thing has to be fairly expensive to go on a tour like this. How does it work? I mean, a community from Valemount couldn't obviously afford to bring you up here just to do one area. So how does the funding for this type of project come together?
Well, we put this tour together with a couple of library federations, and they're subsidizing us. It wouldn't be possible for us to do it otherwise. So we're very happy about that.
Oh, that's great. What do you hope the kids will take away from this? I think you mentioned knowledge, but do you have a hope that maybe it will inspire them to get more interested in science and technology? What's your hope here?
So I taught high school physics and math for 5 years, and it's quite different from when I was a student in school myself. Kids now have access to a lot of the things that we used to aspire to having when we were left school, left university, and grown up and had a good job. So they have all the toys. So it's very difficult often to show them any kind of a light at the end of the tunnel. The light at the end of the tunnel for us is the joy of creating things and taking things apart and seeing how things were designed. And ultimately, actually within a short space of time, you realize, well, actually I would have done it differently. I would have done it better, maybe. So we want to share that joy of hacking and making things, creating your own environment and creating the things around you. That's the light at the end of the tunnel, which I was not really able to bring into the classroom as a teacher as much as I wanted to. So now I just kind of have sidestepped that whole problem. We've got our own classroom and we take it wherever it's wanted.
So it's July 15th, school is out. Don't tell the kids, but they're actually learning.
Right.
Yes, as an engineer, you ask the question, why do I also do this? There's too many kids that I meet who don't know which way is to screw a screw in or out, so to open a tap, shut a tap. I really feel it's been left to people like ourselves to give the kids that hands-on practical experience of actually using tools. They're born nowadays with 3D printers in their rooms almost, and but they don't really often get the opportunity to take it apart and see what's inside and how does it work.